Hello and welcome to Alternate Image Raid. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video, and what we're going to be doing here today is showing this run of Hydra Normal Rotation 1, and we're going to show how this is able to be done with this team completely and totally on auto. Normally I've shown some basically auto teams in past Hydra videos I've done, but where I've actually taken control of them to make sure that it's targeting the right champion, at least where I just click on the head that needs to be clicked on. And in this case, I'm not going to be doing that at all, actually. I'm going to let it go entirely all the way through. And we'll see if we're able to get this one key for normal, which is over 6.66 million. And I think that we will. So for the team that we're using here, we're going to be using, going from far right to far left. We have Doompriest, we have Uugo, we have Geomancer, we have Vogoth, we have Scyl, and we have Vizix. And it is primarily a support team. That is the strategy I'm going with to attempt to make this fully on auto, is that there's lots of, passive self-healing and AoE cleansing and a res and that sort of thing. And not a lot of buffs going out on our team. And this is because a Head of Mischief will strip the buffs off of our team and then spread it to the rest of the enemy Hydra heads. So we don't want block damage buffs or block debuffs or even just too many offensive buffs going on up there, because that will end up going to the enemy team. And I'm not bringing anything specifically to counter that, with the exception of Uugo and his block debuffs, but it gets stripped, so the timing doesn't work very well if you're not doing this on auto, or if you're not doing this on manual, excuse me. And so for that reason, we're going to go high self-sustain, high healing, not a terrible amount of damage. Damage champions tend to be a little bit weaker, so we're using Geo for some damage and Vizix with that blessing, and hope that works out. Of course, at the end of this video, I will show you all of their stats and their masteries and what else is going on with these champions, and kind of discuss some more of the strategy for this. So for now, I'll just speed through this and you can see the run, and then we'll skip to the end and you can see what's going on. All right there, so we'll see. It barely made it. Completely on auto, with the exception of when I accidentally tabbed back over into it, I clicked on one of the heads for a minute. That didn't really affect it because it was the Head of Mischief that can't really be targeted, but otherwise totally on auto. And we'll see that Geomancer and Vizix did the majority of the damage. Geo from AoE and also his Reflect passive on his HP burn. And then, of course, Vizix, probably most of her damage coming from that Smite debuff coming from one of her blessings. However, I was pretty excited. I just wanted to try and see if this would work. I wasn't sure it was going to. Of course, now I'll go show you all of their stats and so forth. But it's fun to see that this can be done totally on auto. Probably only, though, on normal, even if my team was better. Just because they refuse to prioritize the champions that have been eaten. For Vizix, for those who've watched this, you've seen her before. She is coming in with decent HP, solid defense, okay speed and damage, with just enough accuracy to land her debuffs. We do have her in a lifesteal set, which I actually love for this champion to keep her in the game, given that she has an ally protect and a taunt, so she is often going to be taking hits, even from this with the ally protect. But in general, just having her be able to self-sustain is pretty awesome. Masteries, we went down to War Master there. And again, for her blessing, I actually have it used. We have this Brimstone, only a 1-star, but it does get that smite debuff off often enough to help out. Scyl we have in Relentless here to take extra turns. I love Scyl in Relentless, extra turns to get this passive healing out, to cycle through the abilities, including a revive faster. Just so good. Our Scyl here is in a ton of defense, a little bit of speed, lots of crit damage compared to the crit rate. It's really too much, and then almost enough accuracy. Mostly I've just built Scyl kind of as a tank to just help be alive and support the team. Mastery, Scyl is going down for War Master, and we do not have a blessing here. Our Geomancer is one of my few champions in a 3-star blessing. This gives us a chance of an up to 10% decreased defense, just really helping out overall. And that 400 attack from this. It's pretty nice. So Geo, the sets aren't really important. I have a ton of accuracy, mostly for Iron Twins. We don't need this much here. Otherwise, we are decent HP, defense, and attack, and speed. Just all-rounder, a little bit of damage, a little bit of survivability, okay speed. Not really a lot of crit rate and crit damage in this, although for this particularly, you could definitely remove some accuracy, get your crit rate up if you wanted more damage. Masteries, we did go down to War Master as well. For Doompriest, we'll see the Masteries aren't finished up. We do not have a blessing yet. However, we are in also Relentless set, so we can rotate through our passive, which is a cleanse and a heal. That's the most important thing Doompriest is doing here, particularly on this, keeping those fears off of our team. For stats, we're at a decent amount of HP. Okay defense here, and then the rest of it doesn't really matter a lot for what I'm doing. The speed could be nicer, although I am trying to tune Doompriest for some weird clan boss team that you may or may not see unless I can get it working. But otherwise, just good support champion all around. Uugo, I haven't built Uugo in a long time. I did put Uugo in a lot of perception. This was when it was hard for me to get this much accuracy, because I was going for high accuracies. We have a bunch of HP, decent defense. The speed is a little low, but fine. And lots of accuracy because Uugo is trying to land this Maelstrom Rack, which is a chance to put block buffs. This is particularly nice on this team. It will stop the Mischief Head. It doesn't stop them dealing the buff, but it stops them from getting it. It also stops the Poison Head from being able to put the that anti-crit bubble they get on. And then the one head will purge it off if it's there, but it's just good all-rounder. And then we do have a removes heal reduction, which does get placed in this setup, and one other buff along with putting a heal. So it's pretty nice to get healing for our champions. If everybody dies and this is the last one alive, it has an extra mechanic, but it doesn't really apply here much. Chance of Leech, not bad. Masteries, we did go through Eagle Eye again. We're just trying to get those debuffs landed. For this Vogoth, this actually was my wrong Vogoth. I don't have the Masteries built here or a Blessing. Not really a big deal, though, for this, as mostly we're here just to have a chance of Taunt. Again, my other one is booked, so I grabbed the wrong one here, but this is okay because it still worked even with an unbooked, unmasteried Vogoth without even full gear. But we're still going ton of HP, much defense you can scrounge in there, and I was going Resist for a different purpose, although it does have some value here, but not a lot. Vogoth, you'd really just want to be a tank to soak all the hits, because Vogoth's passive is spreading some of the damage as healing around to the team. Just helps reduce some of the burden of AoE hits. And we also have a chance to place a leech when we get attacked. So the main strategy I have for this team, we have one res and somebody who's tanky. You're going to need that if you're doing this the way I did it. You don't necessarily have to. If you're manual, you probably get away with it, but it's fine. A handful of support champions. Really, somebody with the Brimstone Blessing is going to be pretty nice just for the extra damage, or you could put on a real damage champion. And then Geo's obviously really solid for the decreased damage and the burn, but really if I say put Ninja on this team that I had here, it would get done faster. So anybody you have that is going to get some damage out along with a little bit of support available. And then the other thing I was doing with this, particularly keeping it away from having to manual, is not really a lot of buffs. So Vizix will place a speed buff, and Doompriest places attack up, and then Sorry, Scyl places that speed buff, and Vizix can place this ally protect, which can get stolen and actually will hurt her. But otherwise, there's not a lot of buffs in this team. So when the Mischief Head strips our turn meter and buffs, it's not getting any value out of those buffs. That also means I don't really have to bring somebody to deal with purging the buffs. So just having the chance of Uugo blocking them occasionally is really all we need to keep this going. Now, we'll see we only got to about 7 million damage on this, which is more than the 6.6 that we need. However, if you were to take manual control of this and break out your champions, you could probably get double without a lot of trouble. So, yeah, that's really about it. I was kind of happy to see this worked. I wasn't sure if it was going to, but kind of fun to see I have one I can just let go and not really worry about it. RNG could, of course, hurt that, but really, if I was doing this for any purpose other than the video, even if I was trying to manual, I would still just, you know, hit tap on the one that is has eaten one of our champions, and that will at least make sure that we are able to break that champion out, keep going longer. Not really a problem. So what are your thoughts? Do you run these on manual? Do you run even higher difficulties on manual? I have not been able to do auto anything other than this original normal version here. But maybe someone else has a team that is awesome. Do that. Link that team in the comments, because that'd be cool to see. Maybe something I can do, maybe something other people can do. If it's something I can do, you'll probably see it in the video. Again, this has been Alternate Image Raid. If you like, if you love, sub. If you dislike, smash that dislike button, as it's still engaging for the channel. And as always, have a great day.